Hello there YouTube, it's your boy B3, back another kicking graphic novel review. Today we're looking at Trinity of Sin, The Wages of Sin from 2014 to 2015, DC Comics, The New 52. Yeah, so the Trinity of Sin was supposed to be like a new magical DC Trinity. They kind of spun out of Trinity War and also kind of led into Forever Evil almost immediately, so people didn't really super care that much, I feel like. I probably cared a little more than most. I really like the Phantom Stranger, and I really like the Question. Now, the New 52 version of the Question, completely different. The Question that I love is street level, vigilante, no powers. This magical Question is history's greatest sinner who has been, as a punishment, given immortality and had his memory wiped, so he doesn't know who he is or anything, and he is plagued by curiosity, plagued by the questions burning in his mind. Who am I? What's my past? Blah, blah, blah. While also trying to solve all the questions around him. It's kind of a horrifying curse, actually. And then you have Pandora, who opened Pandora's box, which she was duped into doing and didn't know what would happen if she did it. The Phantom Stranger and the Question were like intentional sinners that kind of do deserve punishment. Pandora didn't really do anything wrong other than be naive. Her punishment is undeserved. And eventually, I think the Council of Wizards did determine that. So let me read you the back of the book. At the dawn of magic, 3 individuals were singled out as possessing the most sin, and a curse was placed upon them. The Phantom Stranger, forced to betray those who trust him in order to gain his freedom. The Question, wiped of all memory, able to discover every answer except the one of his identity. Pandora, doomed to eternal wandering for the crime of curiosity. Each blames the others for their plight, for some reason. I don't know why. And they spent centuries as immortal enemies. But now, an evil force has risen that will drive them to become uneasy allies. The demon Nimra has returned to snuff out the light of the world and replace it with an ancient darkness. Yes, that does sound familiar. You're right. It's not creative. To stop her, this Trinity of Sin will have to combine their powers and talents. They will have to move beyond their hatred and distrust of one another. But first, they will have to find faith in their own virtue. Writer J.M. DeMatteis from Phantom Stranger and Justice League Dark, and artist Yvel Gwitch from Stormwatch and Aquaman turn the world's greatest sinners into its greatest champions in Trinity of Sin, The Wages of Sin. Collecting issues 1 through 6, which is this entire run of Trinity of Sin. I think it was supposed to be an ongoing and didn't sell enough books, probably. Oops. Anyway, you see kind of a recap of their fate, and the Question fight this big demon monster. And the Question has like kind of a semi-shape-shifting ability. It's nowhere near like Martian Manhunter or Plastic Man or anything. He can just kind of wear the faces of other people and live out these lives knowing that he'll never truly have those lives in a weird way. Yeah. That's just a thing he can do. But we also see the Phantom Stranger teaming up with his friend, Terrence 13, who we'll talk about more when I review the Phantom Stranger ongoing from the New 52, which I actually enjoyed a decent bit. Yeah, they kind of help this ghost of like a dead boy move on. And Terrence 13 is murdered by this big snake woman with like a flamey chainsaw-y sword kind of thing. And we see that Pandora is on the beach attacked by this giant living tidal wave, and she has these light powers, which I don't understand because I haven't read her ongoing yet. I've read Phantom Strangers, and the Question didn't get one because DC doesn't respect him. It's true. DC doesn't respect the Question. Any Question to this day. At the time of recording this, Montoya Question has a book, but like, how long until DC trashes the Question again and has him just appear randomly as a background character? Put some respect on the question's name, alright? I like my detective. Anyway, they're all fighting these creatures, and they have this tether to them, and Pandora is able to summon the other two all of a sudden. And they take off, and there's this like big, Skeksis, harpy kind of woman who wants to use their sin to destroy the world of man and bring back the world of darkness. I know this was before Donny Cates' Venom Run, but Donny Cates' Venom Run did this whole thing so much better. This is basically Null. She's basically Null, where Null wanted to return everything to the dark, get rid of the light. She wants to get rid of the light too, but bring back her ancient race that lived in the dark before the universe was created. And she's doing a pretty damn good job, actually, quite factually. She does drain the Trinity of their sins and use it to completely destroy the world. All other heroes and everything are gone. Obviously, it can be rewritten again and brought back, but God, it's so uninteresting. The world's literally been destroyed, and I'm like, not interested. Like, Nimra makes Phantom Stranger her personal servant, and makes Pandora like a slave, and is torturing the question, but they find these like remnants of humanity, these hominids that worship them, because there wasn't quite enough sin. And then they have this big epic adventure traveling across these evil dark lands, with so many obstacles like monsters and horrible plants and weather and deserts, and that entire journey is recapped on a single page, and you don't actually get to see any of it. What an amazing epic journey that sounds like. Well, here's a page summing it up incredibly vaguely. Now we're at the main thing, and the question betrays all of them. The question betrays all of them because he's been tortured so much that he's been brainwashed. Cool. Isn't that what they tried to do to him in the Justice League Unlimited show? Did they take that from Justice League Unlimited? Maybe. If so, it's honestly fine. Even though Justice League Unlimited is far superior to this. But yeah, the question betrays them. Unfortunately. And for most of this book, it's kind of focused almost entirely on Pandora and Phantom Stranger, with Question being left to rot as a character. And that does change. That does actually change. And they find something called the Redemption Box, which is a lot like Pandora's Box, but it can redeem any one of their sins. And there's this like angel guarding it, and the three of them have to like open it together. But when they go in, they're all like crucified. And these animals keep coming and feasting on them, Prometheus style and stuff. And the Question is able to break free, but he's not able to get the others free, and then he tries to leave, but all the people, all these identities he created for himself over the years confront him. And it's very interesting. He's made many identities for himself. People of all different backgrounds, races, genders. He's lived a lot of different lives over the past hundreds of years. But yeah, he tries to free everybody. They're being tortured mostly in their own minds because they all think they deserve it, even though Pandora doesn't deserve it. But then they are given the opportunity to stay in the Redemption Box in this kind of heaven dimension. That's not exactly heaven. It actually appears to be the Garden of Eden. I think it is implied, actually, heavily, that the Redemption Box itself contains the Garden of Eden within it. And everyone was kicked out of it. Like, this is where humans used to live, I think, is the implication. Because you see, like, this tree with fruit and a big serpent in it, and animals peacefully alongside each other, and it is guarded by an angel. So yeah, but they choose to leave. They choose to leave this paradise. The angel's like, hey, you can stay here. You can stay in this heaven and be done. Or you can go out there and fight and try to restore the planet. And they choose to fight and restore the planet. when they go back out, Nemora's like done. She's restored her world. But the issue is she's done too good of a job. She's restored it to what it used to be so well that the people there don't remember they were ever destroyed. They don't remember that their species went extinct, and her queen doesn't know what she did for them. So she thinks Nemora's like crazy. Because whenever Nemora brings it up, she's like, you stupid slut, you didn't do all that. Also, the big queen lady is a very Jack Kirby looking being. Very Jack Kirby looking being. So yeah, the Trinity gets their new like redemption powers, which they use to fight Nemora, and they run out very quickly. But they are able to restore it. And did I say Nemora? Nimra is her name. They restore Nimra, and she's given this new form that's much more human. She still kind of looks like a harpy. She has these elongated limbs and big claws and big wings. But she looks much more human now. And she gives the big flaming sword that was used to kill Terrence 13 to the Phantom Stranger, and she implies to him that it will bring Terrence 13 back to life because his soul is within it. And to the readers, it's pretty obvious the Phantom Stranger's having a hard time figuring it out. The Question has gotten a lot of redemption in this book, but he still doesn't super want to work with Pandora and Phantom Stranger, even though those two have become a lot more friendly to each other. Seems like DC at this time wanted to keep the Question as more of an antagonist to the other two in a way. And to me it's like, why? The Question is the one with like the most comic history, and this is like a very different reboot of the Question, and it's not a bad idea for him. You know, the faceless man, but the face being physical, like a magical deformity, and him not knowing who he is but feeling compelled to answer all these questions to help people. That's a good idea for the Question. I don't know if the new powers he has with the shape shifting and being able to summon this fancy spear made from the Spear of Destiny, but it's not the Spear of Destiny. And then we see him turn into like an energy question mark and disappear, and I don't think this story was like ever really finished. They really tried to push this Trinity of Sin stuff, but guess what, bud? When you have your Trinity of Sin story in Justice League and you immediately follow it with the Crime Syndicate in a much better event back to back, of course your Trinity of Sin stuff is going to get overshadowed, right? You can't just keep it going after you've already discarded it in the book you brought it up in. It's at least not in the way you discarded it. Obviously things can carry on their own past to the book they spawn from, like John Constantine. I think his first appearance was in Swamp Thing, and then he went on to become far more popular than Swamp Thing. Like, it can happen, but for it to happen, you have to give that character, those ideas, their own time to breathe in that narrative. And I feel like Trinity War and stuff just didn't do that for Justice League. I have reviewed all that, by the way. I reviewed all the New 52 Justice League and those events that tied into it, like Throne of Atlantis and Trinity War, Forever Evil, Dark Side War. It was just kind of lame. This was just kind of a lame book. And I hate that, because I love the Question and I really like the Phantom Stranger, and I have really no issues with Pandora. Maybe I'll like her more after I read her ongoing. That's the cat tearing up my carpet, losing my security deposit for me, even though she's right next to her clawing post. But that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below. Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next time.